Last weekend, King Charles remembered his mother on what was his first Mother's Day without her. A photo released by the royal family's official Twitter page showed a young Charles standing on his mother's lap, the pair smiling for the camera. Also included in the post was a photograph of Camilla, the Queen consort, with her mother. Both images were accompanied by a message wishing Happy Mother's Day to all mothers everywhere, and to those who may be missing their mums today. Charles will have reflected on the first such day without his mother for 74 years. The pair were known to be close and grew closer in their elder years. And while their relationship in the public view was largely formal, archive reports have shown to what extent the late Queen was, like millions up and down the country, just another worried mum. When Charles was invested as the Prince of Wales in 1969, a portion of Welsh society lamented that an English national was being forced on them. It was a period which saw Welsh nationalism explode tenfold and one in which forgotten grievances were brought to the fore. Such was the hatred from some that in the 60s a new Welsh paramilitary group emerged, known as Mudiad am Dyffryn Cymru, in English, the Welsh Defence Movement. John Jenkins, a member of the group, masterminded a plot to plant several bombs around Carnarvon Castle, the site of Charles' investiture, in a bid to kill the heir to the throne. Last year, reviewing Robert Hardman's book in the Daily Telegraph, Queen of Our Times, historian Jane Ridley recalled the incident and the extent to which it stirred panic among royal ranks. She wrote, Prince Charles's investiture at Carnarvon was a modern take on royal ceremonial designed by Snowden, but it became a target for terrorist Welsh nationalists, and Prince Charles was lucky to escape a bomb. Hardman reveals how shattering this was for the Queen. For the first time she cancelled her engagements and came close to breakdown. The bomb plot was foiled, not the result of a police interception but because the devices Mr. Jenkins set up exploded in ways he did not anticipate. Some of them killed 2 members of the Macon Abergele. Another bomb he planted in Carnarvon exploded in a police constable's garden as a 21-gun salute was fired, and the other, planted nearer to the castle, did not go off when it was supposed to. Don't miss. Harry and Meghan warned by expert Lilibet move may backfire. Latest, Prince Harry and Meghan have rocky future ahead, says expert. Exclusive, King Charles ready to capitulate to Meghan and Harry, claim, report. It was later found by a 10-year-old boy who was left seriously injured when it exploded. Mr. Jenkins' anger was not so much directed at Charles as it was his perception of Wales' treatment by England. The Welshman was radicalised by the drowning of Trewern and the Aberfon disaster, an event which the Queen visited but only after a time, which she later admitted was one of her only and biggest regrets. The investiture bomb plot was one of the only times during her reign that the Queen was visibly distraught. However, in 1992, she would describe a year that came close to how she felt that day. In a speech delivered towards the end of that year, her use of the phrase annus horribilis made the word famous and described a 12 months marked by disaster for the royal family. A number of scandals emerged from the very heart of the royal household in 1992. Early in the year, her son Prince Andrew separated from his wife Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York. This news was followed by the divorce of her only daughter, Princess Anne, from her husband Captain Mark Phillips. Then, in the summer of 1992, an unauthorized biography of Diana, Princess of Wales, wife to Charles, revealed details of the couple's unhappy marriage, news of which the tabloids swept up. The pair later separated that very year. To top things off, in November, a fire caused extensive damage to Windsor Castle, destroying 115 rooms, including 9 staterooms. In her speech, the Queen said, "1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure." In the words of one of my more sympathetic correspondents, it has turned out to be an annus horribilis. That correspondent was the Queen's former Assistant Private Secretary Sir Edward Ford, who had written to her private secretary expressing sympathy for her troubles. Yet more scandals would mar the firm in the years after 1992, but it was the only instance that she acknowledged publicly how wrong things were going. Meanwhile, preparations for Charles' coronation in May are well underway. This week, it was announced that 3 open-air locations in Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole will have big screens showing his coronation live. The screens will be in the Lower Gardens, Bournemouth, the Quamps, Christchurch, and Bader Park, Poole. There will be other big screens around the UK, around 30 of them, in all devolved nations.